If we're talking Nate Action, Cram Jackson, I mean, you got to talk about putting butts in seats is what I would say. The man knows how to wrestle. He knows how to wrestle through positions. He knows how to create action. He knows how to jump over guys like a Mario Mushroom. I mean, what else could you ask for out of a guy? Straight off of Egypt, going for the #1 spot in the U.S. Just stay tuned for the kid. He's coming for gold, world gold, not even just U.S. Keep it on the radar.
What's up, everybody? John Forster here, Breakdown from the Barn. We're on episode 36. With me, as always, greatest mind in wrestling, Eric Winnuck, and we got a big guest here tonight, man. We got Nick Jackson, one of the top wrestlers in the world, coming with us, just back from Egypt. How you making out, Nick?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be back on U.S. soil. Egypt was super fun. I have a lot of cool stories that I'm sharing with my family right now, but I'm happy to be in Jersey.
Awesome. So tell us about that. I seen pictures, you riding camels. You look like you were having fun out there. That looked like an awesome place, man.
One thing about when me and Reese travel, man, we try to have a good time. We're seeing some of really incredible places, some places that a lot of people don't get to see. So when we get our chances to be there, obviously we got a job to do. But part of the fun and part of keeping, the spirits high is being able to take in that different culture. So going to Egypt was weird. It was like stepping out of a spaceship and getting dropped down somewhere like in Star Wars, man. It was a different world, but it's crazy, all the similarities. So the city of Cairo is a lot like New York City. Like they have skyscrapers and they got, different people who are doing different things there. It's just like, if New York was hit by a bunch of sand or something. That's all. Yeah. That's all. And then the pyramids were amazing. And then it was a ranking series tournament. So you got some of the best wrestlers in the world who are there, not only at my weight, but up and down, so I'm getting to see a lot of different guys, and it's a lot of fun.
It's funny, Nate, you mentioned about feeling like it was Star Wars, a different planet. My brother, we talked about this before we jumped on, who was served in the armed services. He was in Egypt, he was in Afghanistan. And I would ask him and say, what's it like over there? He goes, picture Tatooine, okay, in Star Wars 1. That's what it's like. Okay. So when you said that, I'm like, my God, that's exactly what my brother said. So it's the same thing you said. He goes, think of Tatooine and you know where you're at.
It's weird, man. We made it out there at a good time. It wasn't too hot. So it was like 70 degrees all week. So we got plenty of sun, but we're never, really feeling that full on desert. Those camels are something else. Those things are humongous and just a lot of power, but it's cool, man. It was cool and great sightseeing. So I recommend it. Anybody who's, traveling, put that on, one of those places that you go for bucket list. I still can't believe some of the pictures that I have from that trip. Just looking back at it, it's like literally like a different planet.
That's good stuff. I was waiting to see like Reese doing a backflip off a pyramid or something like that, but I guess
he might be able to successfully do a backflip off a pyramid, but I don't know if he could do a backflip over the armed forces there to arrest him.
Got it. So Nate, obviously Egypt is a cool thing. What else is going on in Nate Jackson's life? I know we were talking about you got a lovely family, son, 3 daughters, I think. Anything else that you want to talk about, outside the mat? What drives Nate these days?
Yeah, I've been so I'm super motivated by my Christ, Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So I've been trying to get back in touch with my Bible and trying to stay up on that. Having different friends and different friend groups motivate me to just stick in there, because sometimes you can lose yourself in this whole, trying to grind to the next thing and whatnot. But I have a great partner, my wife. This part of my life, I feel like, is the season that's just about really pouring into my family. And I've been trying to do that at a high level. My wife is doing beauty pageants. She's currently Mrs. Rhode Island. She has some big news coming pretty soon. She's started modeling. She did New York Fashion Week. She's gonna do some other stuff in the future. She's been in 2 magazines already. She's doing really well. So I'm trying to hold everything down. And then we got 4 kids, so we're both kind of stars in our field right now. Trying to make sure that our kids are being stars in what they're supposed to be doing. They got dance, they got practices, they got you name it. But trying to stay on them and make sure they're staying studious and getting their work done. But at the end of the day, man, we just have a lot of fun. So my biggest thing is like trying to make sure that no day is left, without hitting some of those things that I want to do. You shouldn't put off smiles and whatnot so you can get to smiles later. If that's what you want, like, figure out how to make it happen right now, and then you can be grateful on your journey up. So all of this stuff, like accolades, I walked away with a silver medal from this tournament. It's all icing on the cake, man. It's funny because my finals was going to come up. Reese actually pulled me from the match. Has some things that are going on just my body wise that it didn't really make a lot of sense for me to continue to go. I wrestled 3 hard-fought matches against top competitors. I got my ranking series points. Me and Colin Moore, we're going to wrestle each other about 3 times in the next couple of months here. So not too worried about or not too focused on wrestling that guy that much.
Yep.
More focused on the other objectives and why I was there. But that same day, my son was wrestling in his league tournament, year-end tournament. So I'm on FaceTime with my wife.
You don't mind me asking, which league, which tournament?
Delaware River League. So
Del Valley League. Yep.
Yep. He's in 5th grade. So he actually won his tournament. It was his first ever tournament win. And it was perfect. I lost, he won, and it was like
nice.
Cool. Like, take
it's all about our kids, Nate, man.
You got it.
That keeps you busy. My son wrestles. He wrestled in the North Jersey tournament. Unfortunately, he took twice and 2, so he didn't get the title this year. But You're right, man. That drives you. When you see your kids have success, you don't care what you do. Okay?
No way.
I'm sure that's a thrill for you.
How old is your son?
He's in 6th grade. He's 12.
Okay. All right, man. All right, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I got a 75-pounder over here. He knows everything.
Mine's 80, man. Gotta get him on the mat. So
that's for sure, man. I'm down anytime.
No, it's funny, Nate, not to go off script here, but you mentioned faith earlier. It's got to be helpful that being part of the senior circuit, you got guys like Kyle Snyder, Jaden Cox, Jordan Burroughs. These are all guys that I think take faith seriously and helps drive them. So I'm sure just talking about that, you've got guys that you're working with, I'm sure that can help you out from that road. And that's really big in the wrestling community, I know. So I don't know if you want to touch on some of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of spiritual leaders on Team USA as well. So like you mentioned some of them. But even it goes far into just people who are, this guy, Jose, he messages me and sends me a lot of encouragement, maybe at least multiple times a week.
Right.
And I don't always reply and I don't always say anything, but when I see him, I make sure I give him a big old hug. And, people who care about your soul, people who care about, things that go further than the vanity of winning and things like that. Like, those are the people who matter when you're having good moments and when you're having negative moments. They're always there because, they put themselves there. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And in wrestling, there are a lot of examples and a lot of different people who have not only been through things, but also have picked themselves out of it, have turned to friends who needed help. And it makes it to where it's easier to do it. It's weird that it happens when you're at this higher level because when you're in between, sometimes you can't find that group.
Right.
But, now that I'm not officially on the team yet, right? We'll get into that later. But trying to make this team and I'm around these guys all the time. It's so many positive role models. And I try to take a little bit from any room I'm in, take a little bit from any interaction I have. So it's been easy.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Nice. And we're talking about that team. I mean, you made Final X last year, just missed it. How bad you want to get on that team? Colin Moore, that's going to be some great matches coming up. Like how much is that motivating you to get on that team? And we know the ultimate goal for you is to win that world title.
For sure, man. I've been wanting to win a world title for a couple of years now. I'm not one of those people who had this dream as a kid to do this thing, whatever. But I've been grateful to be in a position where I've always looked a little bit ahead and seen that next step. And I just think that's where I am right now. And it's important to just measure your progress. And I know over the last 5 years, I don't think anybody in the country has made more progress than I have in our sport. And I got to keep it going. It hasn't gotten me really anything yet. You know what I mean? So I look at where I was the year that I lost to Jaden in Final X, and I guess that was last year, and think about where I am now. I'm a much different wrestler. I'm a much better wrestler. And yeah, hunger comes with that, when you do something for a long time. I'm here just trying to cash in on the time and investment that I put in. I got a whole group of people. I got my family behind me. It's a lot of people who want to see this happen for me. So it makes it easy and it makes it fun to really chase it down. And now I'm in a position where I can really go full force to that, and to have it on the horizon right here. I always make another jump when we start to get close. So I'm looking for that next jump, and that's what we go to practice for.
You know, it's funny, that leads right into what I want to talk about, because you come off, Nate, so humble when you say you really haven't done anything yet. Because going back to your collegiate career, obviously you had a very successful career many of us wish we would have had. Okay, two-time All-American. I think a couple of those All-Americans, especially your last year, 184 was just loaded. Okay, you were literally 1 point away from being a finalist. Okay, and who would you wrestle? Bo Nickel, no slouch. Okay, 111 career wins. Okay, but when you think about the senior circuit and getting into international wrestling and wanting to be on a world team, you know, people think of multiple NCAA champions. Okay, there are literally NCAA champions who can't get through final, you know, even get to Final X. So just talk to me. You kind of touched on it, but the growth of your wrestling from high school through the collegiate experience, now where you're at right now. I mean, Nate Jackson's a big name out there right now. Okay, you're one of the top wrestlers in 92 kilograms. Okay, and you've never gotten further than, say, the semifinals of the NCAAs in 1 year. So talk to me about that progression to become what you become today. Obviously, you want to be on the world team, you want to have the opportunity, but just to get to this point, what is it about Nate Jackson that has allowed you to make those strides and those steps?
I guess we got to point out a couple things. So, first and foremost, the biggest thing is Reese Humphrey, right? I would be, you know, that's my best friend. That's my guy. It's a Jersey thing, man. But no, seriously, he puts his heart and soul into every day. You know, I've been in rooms where I worked hard for something and then I got some payoff for it, or I felt like I was getting closer or closing in on that technique or whatever after a couple of months. When I tell you that, not a week goes by where there's not an epiphany, like a big thing that I have to change within my wrestling to elevate. And to do that, you know, day after day, week after week, month after month, you know, I watch myself wrestle against Jaden. You know, I watch myself take a match from Jaden, and I look at all the areas where I could have been a lot better. So at some point, you know, it's just, man, that dude is really good. Reese is really good. And it's because he's been through a lot. He was a 3-time world team member, and he didn't reach where he wanted to reach. And there are things that stood in his way from getting there. And it made him a really, really good coach, because he was a great wrestler already. And then he added the things that he was lacking. And I just came around at a really good time. But the guys who are in that room, Shelton Mack, Matthew Kolazic, like, they're getting a lot better. Chance Marsteller, they're getting a lot better. And it's really cool to see. It took me a little bit. I'm a slow learner, I like to say. Reese always laughs at it. I'm a slow learner. It takes me a while to learn something new. But when I get it, it's second nature. So it's a lot of those things that we've been working on for the last couple of years that just have become second nature now. I don't think about. And I add it to my own coaching, which makes I've been successful as a coach for, you know, because I get the best instruction. And I pride myself on paying attention. But then I've also just been in the right places. And then another big reason outside of Reese is our country is just getting really good at wrestling.
Yes,
when you step in there, you're expected to bring home a medal now. Where, I mean, 5 years ago, it was only a couple of guys who were bringing home medals every year. You know what I mean? And now at every weight class, you know, no lower than fifth, everybody is bringing home a medal. Everybody's bringing home a medal. So, you know, there's some great guys in the country. I wrestled a number 7 dude from Turkey, my first match at this ranking series in Egypt. And man, he was coming after me, and he went really hard. And, you know, it didn't feel too crazy, because what I'm doing in the practice room is really simulating these type of scenarios and these type of stressors. So Reese does a really good job of getting us prepared for it. And then you just got to trust. You know, our country does a really good job of getting us prepared to go win gold. And you just got to trust. I have a lot of faith in myself. And then there's a lot of people behind me. So I don't take these opportunities for granted. When the ref blows the whistle, I do what I'm supposed to do. And I just leave it up to whatever's supposed to happen is supposed to happen, but I'm not going to stand in my own way. Can't have fear at that point.
I think you're right, Nate. You're touching on something about where USA Wrestling has come in terms of just kind of the trajectory that the overall team is going. When you think of, you talk about 5 years ago, I'll think about even 10 or more years ago, where I felt like wrestling plateaued a little bit from the national scene. And then you go back to, like, I mean, you watch the Mark Schultz documentaries about, you know, the whole Foxcatcher, where there wasn't a lot of investment. You know, once you got to that level, you were pretty much out on your own. And I think you're absolutely right. I think the investments that both the country and the wrestling community has made to make that international scene a forefront, make freestyle wrestling important, I think you're spot on. And I think the trajectory of wrestling at the international side and the senior circuit in this country is going to allow guys like yourselves to, if they didn't achieve all their goals in the NCAA, but they've got the raw skills, they've got the talent, they've got the drive, they're going to be given the resources to continue to move forward. So I think that's a great point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would like nothing more than to be like a flag bearer of that. Like, I'm a guy who I was pretty good at wrestling, but I needed to add a lot. Like, I got a lot better. And it was through instruction, because somebody believed that RTCs was something that was important. So the belief of that, and then the investment, right? The university taking the initiative, and then, you know, just pushing us. And, you know, Princeton University and the coaches there, they really pushed me as well, where if I was somewhere else, you know, they may have been holding me back to, you know, try to draw from me in a different way. These guys really want me to be the guy. They want me to go out there and win world and Olympic titles. And they're right. I mean, it's gonna impact the program for sure. It's gonna add to more exposure, and higher caliber wrestlers wanting to come to Princeton, because this is the ecosystem that I did it in. And you know, I take a lot of pride in, you know, I drill with those guys every day. When I'm home, when I'm not, I'm kicking butt somewhere else. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome. And you know, we're talking about these battles with Jaden Cox, right? Why don't you tell us about those matches? I mean, we know you closed the gap a lot in the last 5 years. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that rivalry?
Yeah, so Jaden is a really good friend of mine. Me and him are really close. We disagree on a lot of different things, but we're both open to debating and discussion. So we kind of got close over that. And, you know, he's like a brother to me. So when he was training, he was actually training at the NJRTC for a little bit.
Yep,
and yeah, there was certain positions that I was really good and I felt good in. And then there were certain positions that I didn't feel good in against him. And I think if you ask him, it's probably similar. And then, you know, the thing about a best 2 out of 3 is the first person to make that adjustment, that in-match adjustment, is usually the person that's going to win. That first match that I wrestled him, I got the first score, and then I changed that up a little bit. And he made an adjustment. He won that first match. And then I made the adjustment and stayed a certain way, and I won the next match. And then he made the next adjustment. And I like to think that if there, you know, he won that match. And I like to think that if there was another match, I would have made an adjustment. But then, you know, that's just how it shakes out, you know.
It's funny because they interviewed Jaden Cox. I think it was Flo, and they talked about a conversation you guys had in the airport on the airline. He talked about how compared to a chess match, and you guys were chatting about, you know, exactly what you said. You know, it was almost like a chess match the way you were going through the progressions of those matches. So I don't know. It just he had the same perspective. So when you're talking about that, you know, making the adjustments, that's exactly what I think of as Jaden being interviewed, talking to you on the airport about thinking about it as a chess match.
Yeah, we train our bodies up, man. Our bodies they withstand a lot. People sometimes just from the outside, sometimes it looks like it's a lot more physical than it is. For us, like, there's certain spots where we're gonna rip, we're gonna bruise, we're gonna be hurt a little bit. But for the most part, like, our bodies are so used to certain things that it really is just the little bit of the little things that we're doing that makes the difference. You know, he knows I'm going to shoot a double really hard and he's going to have to catch it or eat it or whatever. I know that he's super quick. I know that if I get him in rear standing, I'm not going to be able to take him down. So I need to just run him to the edge. Like, these are the things that it's hard to explain, like, but in the heat of the moment, we have to be ready to do those things. And our coaches, they got us ready. You know, he has great coaches over there at Cliff Keen, and, you know, I have great coaches at NJRTC. And I thought they were really, you know, highly entertaining matches. They were pretty low scoring for as much as we did, because we did a lot during those matches, and they were pretty salty, stingy scores. But, you know, it was hard.
Those are his matches. Those are Jaden Cox matches. It's
I
tough.
know, man. I know.
It's hard to score on him, man. He is so solid. Okay. So yeah, that's what you expect with a match like Jaden.
And now you're talking about Reese Humphrey, the coach, right? I see you got the Cuts Connect hat. What about Reese Humphrey, the music man? I see you're making those videos. Anthony, seeing his Instagram on it. Tell us about that night and the music videos.
Yeah, so that was actually my first night meeting Anthony. So my wife and I actually went. I'm a fan of his. He's Jersey through and through. My wife's a big fan of Jersey. We've been here and we've been immersed in the culture and the people and it's cool, man. It's cool. So to see somebody who is Jersey and to really experience that up and close, like we really took advantage of that. We had a lot of fun with it. He's a great guy to talk to. I'm supposed to be meeting up with him actually on Monday to chat it up. But he seems like a really good guy, really genuine. And open. We had really good conversations. So that was really fun. Reese on the music tip, man. Reese and CJ, those dudes are gonna make it. They're gonna make it. They have a lot of, they got a lot of work ahead of them, but they have so much hustle, and their energy is infectious. And they've got a lot of really good songs that they haven't put out there yet. I'm excited for them.
Nice.
Yeah, what I like about because we talked to obviously we talked to Humphreys. God, what has it been, a couple months now, John? And what I liked about him, not just the passion of what he's doing, but when he talks about his music and the different styles they're doing, he's like, I really don't care what people think, man. I'm going to do it. You got problems with it? I'm bringing it. Okay, I'm doing my thing. So I think it's that I won't say not caring, but just he's going to be who he's going to be, and they're going to do whatever style they're going to do. And I think it comes out in music. So anything else off the mat that maybe you want to raise or talk about, or anything non-wrestling that would speak to Nate Jackson?
Yeah, no, I think we covered most of it. I've really been out a lot more, just networking and doing different things. I know my wife's crowd has kind of influenced me a little bit to branch out and just be in more rooms and having different conversations to help not only grow myself and create more avenues for me to to draw attention from, I guess, and extend my platform, but also I'm learning that wrestling is just a really cool thing, and it's really unique and a really unique group and industry. And I think that what we have in our sport, like as long as we know to nurture each other and to lift each other up, because sometimes it can be so hard that we can get discouraged and we can discourage others and put others down and whatnot. But if we're confident, our confident selves as wrestlers, like we can do anything in this world, man. These rooms are a lot different than these wrestling rooms. Wrestling rooms are tough, man. These other rooms, man, like if you're bold and if you're confident and different things that wrestling just teaches, you're going to be really successful, and it'll happen pretty quick. But yeah, no, I think that's about it, man. I'm a family man. That's my life right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do everything I can to just keep my family first. And it's been paying off for me so far. When I leave the house, I'm free of conscience because I did everything I'm supposed to do, hopefully, at home. And I go out and I try to, keep people lifted up and encouraged and try to help whenever I can. And then I go home, so it's pretty cool.
Tell us about Thrive. I know you're going there for some rehab. Why don't you tell us about that, those services?
Yeah, Thrive has been great, man. It's been a great perspective changer for me. I've always been somebody who goes into places after I'm hurt. Yeah. Like, hey, put me back together, Doc, that's always been my thing. So, in talking to AJ, he changed my mindset around it. And, you wouldn't go practice after you lost the match. You go to practice so you can win the match. You go to practice so when it gets tough, you're okay. So strengthening my shoulders and strengthening my body and my knees and my joints. It's important to do it, yes, after you're hurt and you're recovering and doing rehab for it, but also as a preventative measure. So I think even the name Thrive, it makes a lot of sense. Like, why be just okay when you can thrive? when you can do go exceedingly abundantly for your body, because your body is the thing that's going to take you where you want to go. So yeah, no, I've been trying to go, and when I, sometimes I don't go as much as I should, and my wife stays on me, and those guys hit me up. So I gotta pay those dudes a visit after Egypt for sure.
Excellent. Now, one question we got to ask you, big UFC fight this weekend with Bo Nickel. You're one of two people in college, two men that beat Bo Nickel in college. What do you expect from him tomorrow night in the UFC and his fighting career?
I expect a KO. I think Bo's gonna knock the dude out, man. He's got to hold it down for wrestlers. I know the dude. He works, man. He works hard. He's a freak of nature. He's talented, and he has more confidence than anybody I've ever seen. So I think those three things, being a freaky nature, being super talented in different ways, and then having that confidence, he'll be okay. I think he goes in there trying to knock the dude out. He can make a lot of money at the end of that night.
Yeah, nice.
You're right. He's a confident dude, man. You can see it in him. Most of those Penn State guys are, but bringing it back to the wrestling tip, obviously you're involved with the Princeton program, and we've got EIWAs coming up. We know about Glory, we know about Quincy Mundy. But talk to us about, any expectations of what you guys expect out of the EIWAs. Nate Dugan, Luke Stout, you've got, Stefanik at heavyweight. There's some other guys that I think can do some damage, on the roster. So just talk to me what you're looking for to get out of the EIWAs for Princeton.
I'm looking for, honestly, just for the guys to wrestle with that Princeton brand. I think we've been lacking it at different times this year. And it's popped up in different matches, spotty, but I don't think we've had a performance where everybody wrestled with that on that Princeton brand, just tough, aggressive, exciting. And I think there's no better time to do it now. So, it doesn't really matter. I think just the energy in the room the last couple of days, just since I've been back, has been really positive. So I think that, if they can do it, it's going to be really cool. I think Quincy, Glory, they take care of business and walk out of there with their EIWA titles. I'm excited to watch Luke Stout wrestle. So excited just to see him be free, because he sometimes he can make a cage around his head because he has so many moves and so many different techniques, and he's so skilled, man. He's so skilled, and it's through the work that he's put in. I want him to push that cage down for one day and just let's see what happens. And if he does that, I think he's going to get his hand raised a lot. I'm pretty excited to watch Nate Dugan wrestle as well. Nate is like a person, man. He's like my brother. I train with him a lot. I grab him one-on-one a lot. And I think mentality-wise, he's probably closest to me on the team, just as far as he's pretty wise, man, and he doesn't really get shaken by the ups and downs of the season. He's excited for his next opportunity, and he's very talented. And a lot of those matches that he lost, he's going to have an opportunity to flip the script on some of those. And I know he can do it, and he knows he can do it. So I'm excited to see that happen for him. And it's, again, no better time to do it than now.
Yeah, and Nate's had some tight losses. I think we, John and I have always done the previews. We haven't had a chance to talk through the season yet. It's been so busy. But I think of a Luke Stout. I think he's a dark horse. I think he's a guy who could surprise coming out of the EIWA. So it's exciting to see those upper weights. And obviously you being a part of that, I think is a big reason for some of their success. So I think between, Glory Monday, if you guys can get a couple of guys through, I think it's, you look past the record. You said, it's all about, I hate to say it, and we go back and forth about the importance of duels and all that stuff, but the bottom line is, to be honest, March is wrestling, man. And you can come and bring it and get out of that tournament, because we talked about my boy, we talked about CJ Composto a little while ago. Kid coming out of UPenn, okay, had a really good season, but bam, comes out of EIWA. Next thing you know, he's getting his hand raised on the podium. So anything can happen. So I think you guys got to be excited to just let the season go by. Let's let it shake out. It's all about the individual wrestler now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one guy I think about is Marshall Keller. He had a really tough year last year, and went into EIWAs and put on a great tournament, made it to nationals, and then wrestled some really tough matches at nationals, really good matches at nationals. So I think that we have the examples in the room. We have the examples in the ears of the guys. So it's just time to do it. It's time to do it. And like you said, it's the end of the year. Everybody should be able to get up for this. And it's not going to be easy because you're going to get somebody who has that same mentality. That's right. But, zombie mode time, dude. We just got to go forward. Keep going.
Yep, I like that, zombie mode. You kind of answered this question already, but talk to me about, because you talked about being an Illinois state champ or in Chicago or state champ. It's like you got a little write-up. It's Atlantic City season, man. State wrestling tournament in New Jersey is as big as, I swear to God, college football down in the South, okay? So talk to me the differences between Jersey wrestling and Illinois. And it's a loaded question, but which one's better?
Yeah, man. So I don't know, man. So Jersey is great. Yeah. Folk style wrestling, Jersey's got, man. They're the best. I know. One division, scrappy, chippy. Everybody knows what time it is, man. As soon as AC starts to roll around, everybody gets perked up and ready. And you see the intensity in the rooms, just in the high school rooms and everything pick up as well. So it's cool to watch. But man, we got to bring it on the freestyle and the freestyle tip, man. Like, I'm waiting for it to happen. And I know I can help be a part of that. So can't really talk too much, but I think Jersey's a better wrestling state, man. That's why we're here. So I'm excited to continue to be here and supporting this Jersey wrestling. But man, we got to get the freestyle thing going, dude. What's going on?
What do we do about that? Because that's a really good question. Because when you think of, you're right, the great Jersey wrestlers that come out, and the heck about Jersey, and we've had this debate, John and I have talked about it, is at what point do we start focusing on freestyle, both at the youth level, at the high school level, going into college? Because I know my son did the freestyle state championships last year. He did well, but it wasn't the amount of kids. I mean, you go to a good high level folk style tournament, there's almost more kids there. Okay. Yeah. I think part of it is just the change in the rules. It's hard to find refs to basically take it upon themselves to ref a match because it's such a different bird. But yeah, I've noticed that, Nate, especially at the youth level, that the level of freestyle, I don't know if it's the excitement about it, but it's just not quite where it should be, kind of at that youth high school level.
It's a weird thing, and I've noticed it as well. You think about the collegiate crowds. Yep. It's a big crowd. A lot of people who follow college wrestling, and then there's a big drop-off from college wrestling to senior level wrestling. But anybody who knows wrestling knows that that's the next level, and the guys who are at the senior level would smash the guys at college. Not even comparable. Everybody knows that, but the crowds are still not there. And there's a reason because of the, there's just been a lot more infrastructure that's put behind it. Obviously, the incentive for a kid to wrestle folk style is like, you can get a scholarship to college, which is a huge deal. Yep. It's like, telling them to go wrestle freestyle is like, hey, you want to go to summer school? Like, is this going to help me get to college? Like, not really necessarily, but you could, you know what I mean? So it's a tough sell. But, I think the more exposure these senior level guys get, the more accessible guys like myself, Reese Humphrey, the Kyle Snyders of the world, Jaden Cox, obviously Jordan Burroughs, like the more accessible those guys are, it'll make it to more people who want to be like that. And it's already happening where guys are, cadet world champions and things like that. It's happened a lot more frequently. Now we just got to stay the course and start adopting that in Jersey. It does get harder with just certain rules that USA Wrestling sets. But, we got to be game for those rules, just like we're game for the rules during our own seasons. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the next step, and just making it to where wrestling is an all year round thing. You think about basketball and things like the season never really stops for those guys. I think as parents, we got to still be pretty mature and smart and read our athlete, or really just, be a parent and make sure our kids are good, and if they need a break, give them their breaks. But, I think we could do a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, listen, Nate, I think with guys like you leading the way, we're in good shape, man. We're excited. We're going to be following you for the next couple months so you get on that world team. And, hey, make sure you guys follow the show. Catch you guys later, man.
Peace. Thank you, guys.